What if I told you that in the blazing heat of West Africa, a single child carrying a bucket of sand stopped an entire construction site and changed the future of a nation? This isn't a fairy tale. It's not a movie script. It's a story that really happened in Burkina Faso, and it shook the country to its core. A story of power, poverty, compassion, and one leader who refused to look away when the world expected him to keep driving by. Before going deep in the story, let me know, from where are you watching the story? The midday sun beat down mercilessly on the great dam rising in Burkina Faso. Heat rippled off the concrete like waves on asphalt in the middle of a Texas summer. The noise was endless, hammers clanging, cement mixers grinding, foremen shouting orders. Dust coated every face, and sweat soaked every shirt. The air was thick with determination. This dam wasn't just concrete and water, it was supposed to be hope. Electricity for thousands of homes, independence from foreign dependence, proof that Africans could build for themselves. And then, without warning, everything changed. A convoy rolled in. Motorcycles split the path. Black jeeps ground to a stop. Heads turned, tools dropped. Nervous whispers spread like fire. The president himself, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, had arrived. Workers snapped into stiff salutes, their hands trembling, eyes locked on the man in the plain green uniform. But Traoré wasn't the type to stand at a distance and wave. He stepped out, boots crunching on gravel, and walked straight into the dust and noise, his eyes scanning everything, the machinery, the workers, the rhythm of progress. But then something broke his focus. At the edge of the site, near a pile of sandbags, he noticed a figure that didn't belong. Too small, too fragile, a child. At first, he thought it must be a worker's son who had wandered too close. But then he saw it clearly. The boy was bent forward, clutching a basin full of sand that shook in his tiny arms. He couldn't have been older than 6. His shirt was torn, his shorts hung loose, and his legs wobbled with each step. The sight stopped Traoré cold. He strode toward the child. His guards tried to close in, but he waved them off sharply. Crouching down, his voice softened. "My son, why are you here? Why are you carrying sand? You're too small for this." The boy froze, wide eyes darting from the president to the ground. He said nothing, only gripped the basin tighter. The silence grew heavy until Traoré turned and demanded, "Supervisor, who is this child?" The foreman hesitated, shifting uncomfortably. "Mr. President, his name is Adama. He comes every day. We give him a little money. We told him to stop, but he refuses. He says he needs it for his mother." The words sliced through the air like a blade. A 6-year-old, sweating under the sun, carrying sand to survive. Traoré's jaw tightened. His voice snapped. "A child belongs in school, not under the sun carrying sand. And you allowed it?" The site went silent. Engines cut. Tools clattered to a stop. Nobody dared meet his eyes. Turning back to the boy, his tone softened again. "Tell me, Adama, why are you here? Where is your father?" The boy's lips trembled, his voice cracked. "My father. He died last year. My mother is sick. She can't work. I carry sand. They give me coins. I buy medicine. Sometimes I save for school." The dam, the workers, the dust, all of it disappeared for Traoré in that moment. All he saw was this child, burdened with responsibilities no child should carry. His throat tightened, his fists clenched, and then a whisper rose from the workers' line. "Excellency, he's not the only one. Other boys come too. They start before sunrise. The admission hit hard. The president's eyes burned as he turned toward the contractor and foreman. As of this moment, you are suspended, pending investigation. This site will not exploit children. Not now. Not ever. Gasps spread through the workers. No one moved. Adama's body shook, tears streaking through the dust on his face. Traore stepped forward, lifted him gently, and held him close. "Don't cry, Adama," he whispered. "From today, your life will change." The convoy left the site slowly, the rumble of engines echoing down the road. Inside the car, Adama sat on the president's lap. Traore wiped his tears with a handkerchief. "You will not carry sand again. That is my promise. Tell me, where is your mother?" Adama sniffled. "At home. She cannot walk. She coughs all the time. I buy medicine, but it is not enough. At night, she cries when she thinks I'm asleep." The president's chest ached. He placed a hand on the boy's back. "You are too young for this life. Don't worry, my son. We will go to her. But first," he said, "you need proper clothes." The convoy rolled into a crowded marketplace in Ouagadougou. Vendors shouted prices. Smoke from grilled meat hung in the air. When people saw the president step out of his car carrying a small boy, the market froze. Whispers spread. "It's the president. And a child." Inside a clothing shop, the owner nearly dropped her fabrics. "Mr. President." Traore smiled faintly. "Today, I am here as a father. Show us clothes for this boy." Adama's eyes widened at the shelves lined with bright shirts and polished shoes. He touched the fabric as if it might vanish. "Choose what you like," the president encouraged. Hesitantly, the boy pointed to a yellow shirt, blue trousers, and finally a pair of sneakers. When he stepped out wearing them, the shop erupted in applause. His shy smile broke into a beam. "You look like a prince," Traore told him softly. "And from today, you'll be treated like one." The convoy continued into the outskirts of the city, winding through dusty alleys until they reached a crumbling house with a broken door. Inside, the air was heavy with sickness. On a thin mattress lay a frail woman, coughing. Her eyes widened when she saw her son walk in beside the president. "Adama," she gasped. "What is this?" Traore raised a hand gently. "Don't be afraid, madam. I am here to help." Her name was Awa, a widow, barely in her 30s, yet worn down by years of hardship. Tears welled as she touched her son's cheek. "He works too hard. I begged him not to, but he says he must take care of me." Traore sat by her bed. His voice was firm but tender. "You raised a boy with the heart of a man, but from today, you will not struggle alone. You need care, and you will have it." Guards carried her carefully to a hospital. Nurses rushed to make space, despite crowded wards. Soon she lay under clean sheets, an oxygen machine humming beside her. At the foot of the bed, the president placed a hand on Adama's shoulder. "From today, you are my son. And your mother. She is my sister. You will not be alone again." Adama's lips trembled. Then he whispered, "Thank you, Baba Ibrahim." That evening, as the boy leaned against him under the stars, Traore asked, gently, "Do you like school?" Adama's eyes lit up. "I love it. But we had no money. I read my old books at night with a candle." The president nodded firmly. From now on, you will go to school every day. I will give you a scholarship, fees, books, uniform, all taken care of. One day, you will help build a better Burkina Faso. 3 days later, once Awa was strong enough to walk, the convoy stopped at a school. The principal hesitated when Adama had no documents, but a sealed presidential scholarship changed his mind instantly. A teacher crouched to Adama's height and smiled. "Your desk will be by the window. That's the best seat in the room." Later that day, the convoy brought them to a modest new home. White walls, red roof, running water. Adama ran through the rooms laughing. His mother dropped to her knees in tears. "May God bless you, President Traore." He lifted her gently. "Don't thank me. Thank your son. His courage brought us here." The story spread across Burkina Faso like wildfire. Newspapers, radio, shows, street markets. Everyone was talking about the boy from the dam. Soon the president called a press conference. The hall was packed. Cameras flashed. He stood at the podium and began. "Brothers and sisters of Burkina Faso. A few days ago, I met a boy, 6 years old, working under the sun, carrying sand to feed his sick mother. A child who should have been in school, but poverty forced him into labor. No child will be left abandoned again. If you see a boy or girl forced to work, report it. We will take them off the streets, put them in school, and support their families." A journalist challenged him. "Mr. President, promises are easy. How will you enforce this?" Traore didn't flinch. "Fair question. Within 72 hours, every contractor at the dam will be audited. Any company exploiting children will be exposed publicly. And today, a compliance unit will report directly to my office. This is not a speech. This is an order." The room erupted in applause. And then, to everyone's surprise, Adama walked shyly onto the stage in his bright yellow shirt. Standing beside the president, Traore placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is Adama. He is not only my son now. He is the son of Burkina Faso." The hall thundered with cheers. From that moment, change swept the country. A hotline was launched. Social workers began rescuing children from streets and markets. Families who relied on child labor received small allowances so their children could attend school instead. For Adama and his mother, life transformed. He wore a school uniform proudly, books in hand, determination in his eyes. His classmates called him the boy who made the president cry. He became a symbol of hope. One evening he asked quietly, "Mr. President, why did you cry when you saw me that day?" Traore paused. "Because I saw myself in you. When I was young, life was hard too. But people helped me. They gave me strength. And when I saw you, I remembered what duty truly means." Months later, songs were written about the boy and the president. Adama spoke at school assemblies. "I was a boy who carried sand. Now I carry books. If I can change, every child can change." The nation listened, not with pity, but with pride. And, in his office, President Ibrahim Traoré looked over reports. School attendance rising, child labor falling. He whispered to himself, "Thank you, Adama. You reminded me why we lead. This story isn't just about a boy or a president. It's about what leadership should mean. Not building monuments for history books, but lifting up the most vulnerable so they too can dream again." So here's my question for you. If you were in that position of power, would you have stopped for the child with the sand? Or would you have kept driving, convincing yourself it wasn't your problem? Tell me what you think in the comments. Because stories like this shouldn't just stay in Africa. They should challenge all of us everywhere to ask, what kind of nation do we want to be? This is Traore versus America. Subscribe, share this story, and let's keep the conversation alive. Because true power isn't about control. It's about compassion. And compassion is contagious.